100 race is one of the highlights in the Armagh sporting calendar, and it has increased in popularity over the years, and as I've said, we in Armagh City District Council are pleased to be associated with it. We regard it as one of the flagship events in the calendar in Armagh, and this year in particular we are pleased that we were able to increase our financial contribution to the club to run this event.
Honestly say within the last 3 years at least 2/3 of the circuit has been resurfaced. Bales Crossroads to Marleycook Corner, we're on the right hymn sheet now. It's been resurfaced. We've listened to the riders, and you know, on the approach to Marleycook Corner they were getting a surface, so Donny Kennedy, we've worked with him, we've worked with the mayor, and they've helped us get the track into good condition. The Market Road from Cooley Hill Crossroads to Hannah's Bend, that's not named after Mark Hannah. I think he's here tonight in case you think you can name that after yourself. It happens to be a family on the circuit, only when you. The last 3 or 4 years of the entire course, but we had a few problems a few years ago with the Cabra Straight with the stones chipping. Just before you come in tonight, Rand Forker walked out onto this, and he says that he seems to think it'll not be a problem this year at all. We were concerned about some shiny tar now because it has been into the 3rd, 4th year, but the torque on the big superbikes now is enough to pull the stones up when they come to putting surface dressing over a new tarmac, especially in parts of the road that they don't need it. We try to avoid that because it creates more handles and stuff, and really we're just thinking of safety at the end of it all. Additional safety bills, we're around with the Roads Inspection Committee, which is basically gives us a track certificate. I'm actually part of that committee, and we go around all the circuits in Northern Ireland. Also, the same centre is their own layout, but around the northwest and Cookstown and all, we go around and we try and improve all the road races for safety feature, particularly spectator safety and rider safety. You know, a road race is a road race, and you have to accept it as that. But we always try to do things, and there's not a lot of money about it at the minute. It's not like you can resurface this. I mean, a stretch of road about a mile costs about £30,000 to resurface, so it's not like we can just pull this money out and do all this. But where it's good for the locals, and if a road needs resurfaced, we'll get it resurfaced, especially when it's a big event such as the Tandragee 100. So we have right hand side in the trees with like additional safety bales, with more bales coming this year, and I think from 2005 it's over doubled. Part of the states they don't allow round bales, and we've got more square bales baled and putting white bags. We're still getting more of that done, so we're always continuing safety. Our club has actually grew. We've lots of help now. We don't seem to have a problem when it comes to help. There's a great spirit about our club, and it's because we don't fight and argue or anything like that. We all get on really well. Sheila, don't go. There's no fighting, and have a bit of crack. But that's all part of the secret to running a good road race, and the riders love our circuit, which we're very happy about. We listen to the riders. I'm sure Ryan can talk a bit about that later on. We'll maybe get some of the top riders around, suggest different things that need extra marshals, flag marshals around blind corners and stuff, even outside the road inspection committee. At the end of the day, those are the guys out there doing it. Those are the guys has to be listened to, and I would always see that side of course. But in the paddock we had a problem last year. It can always rain, but we've spent, I think it was £1,800, isn't it? £1,800 on the drainage in the paddock to try and, because we have one resident there who works with the club very, very well and is very good to us, but we don't want to torture too much with being surrounded the whole weekend with, you know, camping and just everybody just let her clear her head. So we have the big paddock. It's big enough for everybody, and we're going to try and accommodate that, and that's why we spent £1,800 on the drainage this year. Scrutiny and tent on bottom so a rider, if it is a wet event, for example, a rider doesn't have to push from one end of the paddock to the other and get his bike all mucked. We're going to have 2 scrutiny and tents within the paddock spread out, so that's another, with mesh matting down for that as well. Map of Spectator facilities, all that is in the programme, where to get, where you want to buy food, if you want to go on to, how to get onto the grandstand, the toilets, all that kind of thing. We'll have more bins, PA, radio broadcasting centre. The timekeepers is on the opposite side of the road here, that small field where the timekeepers would have been is now just for spectator viewing. There'll be no vehicles allowed in that field, the small field, if you know what I'm talking about, just at Bell's Crossroads on the inside of the circuit. There'll be a chain round that. It'll only be used for pedestrian access, that's all. Parade lap, Adrian Craig. Put your hand up, Adrian. There he's at the back. He does this every year. It's been a success. At the end of the day, we run a parade lap because it gets a lot extra pound into the club. And it sort of gets everybody into file, gets the marshals, gets the spectators, and everybody switched on. We're going to run this as the last event this year, but we'll change it back to the way it was. We're going to run it first again. And Adrian there, if anybody, it's a controlled practice, but it is controlled front and back practice, but we've two very fast men at the front, so it may as well not be controlled. No, it's controlled. But if anybody wants an entry here, contact Adrian. Put your hand up again, Adrian, so you're not running about looking for these people coming near this time. If he's wanted an entry from Adrian, see him tonight for the parade lap. I think he is 30, so it wouldn't take much more. But big thank you to Adrian, who coordinates this every year and organises it. And that's our first event. We've Ray McCullough with lots of great machines out from the past. And race 2, sponsored by Portland Recycling, is our 201-400 junior support, which is two grids left, or two riders left for a full grid. Sheila will be talking more about that. Sheila has been competition secretary for the event, and she can tell you that there is some grids filled, and that's 49 riders. So any now after that in certain classes will be reserve riders. It's a 5-lap race. I was third in this race last year myself. Mark Hamill's here. He kicked my butt. Where are you, Mark?
There.
Well done. But it was a good race, and it's a very competitive race. It's a pity that there are newcomers coming into that race, because if they could only get to know those riders, it is a very competitive race for the level of experience. It's the first race 2 after the parade lap. It's race 2. I missed one out there, the People's Race, which is sort of would organise this. Everybody's name who has sponsored this race, and the People's Race is the first open race, which is the non-championship. It's a 6-lap. I don't know. She'll talk about entries, but thanks to the individuals who have sponsored the People's Race, people just throw in a 10 or 20 pound locals that maybe can't afford the sponsors, but it just all adds up, and that pays for the prize money in that race, and it's been a success. This last year, was it? Last 2 years? This is the 3rd year of it, so we're definitely going to continue with that, and we'd like to thank every individual who puts any money into this at all, because you know yourself, it's hard enough to set a programme these days, just with the climate that we're in. Race 3 is the Emerald Road Racing, who's been very loyal to us. They had the Grid Girls. I'm not sure, there's no organising of that at the minute. It seems to be a lot of enthusiasm. A lot of photographers seem to hang around the start line when they're there instead of going around other parts of the circuit. But it's the Emerald Road Racing magazine has been loyal sponsor of 600 race for a few years now, and it is the best magazine, we think, and they've always given us great coverage. The girl who put our programme together also works for this magazine. Kathy Fitzgerald's done a superb job with that too, putting the programme together. Thanks for doing that, Kathy. It's exciting. The magazine will be available on race day. We'll go on to race number 4, which is Philip Riddle Memorial Classic Race. He was a club member, sadly died with cancer a couple of years ago. Sponsored by, there's 3 or 4 classes in this race. 21st Century Backyard, Raymond and Trevor Knox have been overall sponsors of the classic races for many years. It was known as, before the Philip Riddle Memorial, it was known as the Knox Classic. With the 351-2000 Classic Championship, William McComb, Hollage, and son Hollage and Uri. 251-350 Classic Championship, or Heatrick Limited, a local building company based near Tandragee, who gives us some like high fencing and stuff too, and he's very much a motorcycle enthusiastic. Up to 250cc Classic Championship, Millside Engineering, based in Guildford. Precision engineering, like they make different stuff. I've got stuff for bikes and stuff as well. So we'd like to thank all these. There's a special award, the Joe McKeown Memorial Trophy for the best classic performance. Isn't it necessarily the winner? It's maybe somebody who's got a slow bike who just puts a great result in or whatever. This is there's a panel of judges for that. I think Paddy Hoey's part of that again, was a classic enthusiast. So race 5 is the lightweight race, 125s. City Autos, it's class dwindling sadly because I love the two-stroke races. We have 16 125s, but they're combined with the Super Sport 400, which is 19, and with 2 singles, and I can pretty much say that there'll be a combined championship next year, but this year it's still individual championships within the centre. Super Sport 400 and 450 singles will be going racing together because of their consistent speeds. It's all about, there's no point in mixing 125s or 400s when one is more corner speed and the other one is more straight speed. It's all about keeping the level of safety consistent within the safety of the sport, really. That's race 5. Race 6 is the 401 to 750 senior support. Not just to the same entry list. The junior support race has 47 entries. The senior support has 30. But it's still, again, it's like the newcomers end of the sport, or people with less experience, and there can be some quite good dices in that race. Sponsored by Centra, Tandragee, again, he's been loyal. Sponsored us, Mr. Owens. Race 7 is the 650 Super Twins, which is oversubscribed. With the 250s, we currently have. First of all, I want to thank Sheila Sitton here, who's club secretary. She took. Race secretary. I get mixed up on all these secretaries. She's been taking care of all the riders, which is quite a tricky job, day in, day and night, especially coming up to the event. So give her a round of applause. She's worked very hard. And she has basically a list of this, but I want to know. Tato is the sponsor of race 7, which was the 250. Tato always sponsored the 250 race, but we have 9 entries in the 250, but entries are still coming in. This is only going to press. There still is a while left yet, and there was entries coming in right to the last day last year. But we know the 650 twin, this particular race is oversubscribed, so that's it. There'll be no more entries in it. And we have 41 650 twins, and we have 9 250s, which is in the combined race. 650 Super Twins, sponsored by Tato, and the 250 race is sponsored by Sally McNally's, which is a local bar just down the road, has sponsored us, and we had a quiz there. Further sponsors, we have the Tandragee 100 Supporters Club, who worked very hard over the years. Hudson Trailers, who's got involved with us this year. Gareth George, who competes at short circuit, sponsors the St John's ambulances. Mervyn Potts, for all the fencing requirements, we get different posts and stuff like that, and rope and stuff, and Mervyn helps us out with that. Wolsey Concrete provides haulage for the bales. It's a big cost now, transporting these bales from race to race, and you know the price of diesel now. So, like at Tandragee, we have 3 loads, a 40-foot load of centre bales, a load from the Ulster Grand Prix, and a load from the bush. And then we have our other 300 white bales, I think over around that, or more maybe. Andrew Milne, Man of the Meeting Award. Ian Milne, Motorcycle Universal Medical Team sponsors. Simon McGee has sponsored prize money too, a local plumber from Portadown. Armagh City and District Council is the general sponsor, and thank the Lord Mayor, he's been very much involved. He has rolled the field in the past, and he does a lot of work for the Tandragee 100. You don't always see him with a gold chain on him, he does being his tractor working very hard, and we appreciate it. Northern Ireland Tour Sport for his general sponsor, so please support all our sponsors. And race 8, the Tandragee 100 senior open race, is a championship of 7 laps, based in around a pound. Our overall sponsor, who has sponsored us loyally for this last on and off, I think they've been overall sponsor for at least 5 years, haven't they? Yeah, and the sponsored races before that, they've sponsored Michael Dunlap. Jerry Rice is a cracker to work with. We were there tonight. He's a very down-to-earth man, him and his wife, both lovely people, and they work very hard, and they take a wee bit of time out to help us, and we very much appreciate it, because it's not easy getting a main sponsor for an event like this, and we really appreciate it.
Managed to get yourself a four-stroke?
Yeah. Still, an engine in the shed and a Batwa bike in the shed and a bit sent away somewhere else, so hopefully for Cooks down at least there'll be something, but I should have definitely on for Tandragee, you know.
And you're hoping obviously for the 125 class then, is it?
Aye, that's what I'm
Your results last year, I must be honest, I wasn't sure you were coming tonight, so I didn't get a chance just to check, but how did you get on at Tandragee last season?
I don't even know, I think it was fourth. But I had a good young boy, Bruce Moles, started last year and he was a newcomer, and he led me to the road, like, and that was a fair battle with him just to even get fourth, you know. It was a great race I had, yeah.
Asking a man coming from Armagh to rate the Tandragee 100 circuit, I know possibly what the answer might be, but how would you rate Tandragee as a national road race circuit?
Well, as has been said before, like, Tandragee is one of the last proper road races left, you know, and as Ian said, or Horace said, is everything.
Who else is going to be there? You know, Wilson's bringing bikes, and there's 2 or 3 others, and Derek Shields is champion, is always run strong, and Michael Pearson. So there's plenty of competition. There's quite a good depth in the field. So anything can happen. We'll certainly try our hardest and try and turn a good result.
And a few things I would like to say just about the way the race is run. I mean, every year everything seems to go as it says in the programme. RJ has a big pair of shoes to fill this year, because I mean, I think in all the years I've been involved, Anne ran a good tight ship last year, so hopefully RJ can step up to the mark. Balls in your court now, RJ. Anyway, thanks very much. I just want to wish everybody a good, safe day's racing, and hopefully we get a bit of dry weather, and fingers crossed everything goes well. Thank you very much.
Very much.